Crisis. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 23 of the Mid-Geek Crisis. My name is Joe, and my partner in crime, Pedro.
Cautious Online.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
So we're back from PAX. PAX East. It's we're recording this on a Tuesday. We didn't get a chance to record on Monday, and we didn't get a chance to record at PAX. We were just so busy doing all sorts of things, and there were some complications, but that's okay. We're all here, we're all safe, and we've got some stories to talk about.
Totally great. It was a great show, right? I'm still tired from it, if I'm honest, right? So low energy, getting through these last 2 work days, trying to get out, get things done, and then go to sleep has pretty much been my agenda.
Yeah. You left on Sunday, right before the show. Right around 5 o'clock before the show ended, and I left around the same time, and I stayed overnight in Boston and flew out on Monday. So it's always funny heading to the airport. It's almost like you're walking through the airport, even on the next day, and you can always spot the PAX people. You know, they've got like their jacket or their swag or whatever. You turn and look, and they've got their badge on. I had my PAX hoodie on. You're like,
we had the same thing. We had the same sort of experience coming in because you come in on that New York Thruway into the Massachusetts Turnpike,
right? And you stop at a gas station, right?
Yep.
And everything
just
stop
like,
at a gas.
The ratio of nerds to non-nerds in this space is way PAX time.
PAX
yes.
Time. Right. And I remember when we would drive in from Syracuse down to Boston, we'd stop at on the way in, and we'd stop and someone with like a Pokemon shirt or something, and be like, heading to PAX, and they're like, yeah,
that's my people. And back then, everyone had a DS, so you knew.
Yeah, everyone was So that was another sad thing. I'm hoping they add something like that to the Switch soon. I miss it. I miss it a lot. It's not.
There isn't as much free play social function that way, playing Super Mario Kart or sending each other dirty messages, text messages on.
Yeah. I just the 3DS has the Spot Pass, the Street Pass thing. So going in and kind of collecting puzzle pieces and playing the little fun little RPGs that are built into the 3DS, or even if you buy some of the expansions, is so much fun. Like the ghost catching one and all.
I love them.
They're great. They're great. They're mini games, but. Man, they've got more. I've seen more depth in some of those games than some actual fully released products like Anthem.
Oh, poor game.
We'll talk about Anthem next week a little bit. There's a great story on Kotaku if you want to go check it out. It looks like Kotaku kind of busted the whole expose on BioWare and all of that, and go read it, guys, and maybe we can discuss it. But they wrote one about Mass Effect 3. And it looks like the same guys, kind of same developers that have been working there, kind of have been not leaking, but I guess kind of informing Kotaku anonymously about what's been going on. So they've got years and years of like.
It looks like the same struggles of Mass Andromeda, similar to the just a big studio with a lot of moving parts and a lot of people who are not in charge.
It looks like you've got the bigger publisher kind of wanting to run everything. You kind of putting their thumb into the creativity and causing creative heads to leave and come back, and the whole game just looks like a poor mess, and it's so sad because
it's also like let's all be honest for a second. It's also a company trying to do something different from what they've done before, and they're going to learn from it. They're going to make some mistakes. So if we want to look at it from a positive perspective, BioWare is Mass Effect, a single-player experience devoted to delivering an awesome storyline based on player choices.
Absolutely.
Anthem's not that, so they're trying something new, and it didn't gel. It just didn't gel.
Yeah, which is sad because we're already talking about it in the past tense. Which is,
I know it is
the language. I mean, you're without you even realizing it, you're like, it just didn't gel, which means that it's not going to gel, which means that it won't be fixed. I can't imagine.
Yeah. It might be. I mean, they're patching the hell out of it. They're dropping huge patches every month, it seems like. You know, and they could turn around.
They
What is
could.
the game? Destiny definitely did, right? Destiny 1 turned it around
Yeah,
by
well,
taking
that was Bungie's big baby, but Bungie didn't have anything else anymore.
BioWare doesn't have anything else. What else do
Well,
they
I
do?
mean, they're working on Dragon Age. Dragon Age 4. They've got that in the. I mean, that's an announcement,
Gotta
and
get them all.
they are part of EA. So the difference with Bungie was part of Activision slash Blizzard,
Sure.
and Blizzard has got Overwatch, and they've got World of Warcraft, and then Activision has got the Call of Duty games. So it wasn't like it was Destiny was there, but they were kind of the black sheep of a company that was already established. They just were there for the reasons to be. I don't know. They just feel weird. Like they left. They were able to do the unthinkable.
I mean, Bungie was established. It's not like they were
Right. Well, they did
something-
Halo,
Yeah, they were not. some studio
but
that was
Halo
garbage.
belongs to Microsoft. So
Well, but they did Halo. I mean,
Right.
regardless of where
right.
the rights wound up, they made it, right? It's like
Right, no.
Marvel owned
Okay.
Spider-Man, regardless of where it wound up. still
Sure,
make another
sure.
one. So-
I guess my point is BioWare has been under the EA umbrella for a long time, and EA is kind of this company that we can look at their track record. They buy up a company and they let them do what they want to do for the first few entries of a game,
if that,
and then after that they just like squeeze everything out of it. A good example of this which is funny, is Criterion. Criterion Games, they did the Burnout series.
oh, okay.
Burnout 2, Burnout 3, Burnout Revenge.
Burnout, sure.
And then they did Burnout Paradise. And then EA got them at Burnout Paradise, right after Burnout Paradise. And then they decided to kill the Burnout series and just absorb it and mix it in with their already card game experience, which is Need for Speed. Then, they killed it. The gameplay that everyone loved was gone. And look what happened. I met the developer of Burnout at PAX East. He's releasing a game in a month, which is essentially Burnout with a whole new name called Driver. And it was on display, and I was looking at it. I walked by and I go, that's Burnout. And he goes, yeah, the developers left Criterion and decided to make a game again. And so here it is. And it comes out, next month. And I was like, I haven't heard anything from this game at all, but there it is on a big screen in 4K, brand new high definition Burnout with like the little Burnout meter and crashing cars and rivals and all that kind. I was like, oh my God, this is just Burnout. Like they just made the game. They're like, yeah, the developers just wanted to make the game they wanted to make.
So yeah, I mean, we should dig into this, but I wonder if this is just a product of a large corporation, just large corporating, right?
Yeah.
Companies buy big companies hoping to fuse, make Frankensteins of
Sure.
development. So EA probably did that with this one. They wanted to add it to their Need for Speed franchise, which is already pretty successful. Why have
two?
Why have two?
Well, I have two racing franchise. Yeah, no, totally. I get it. I get all of it. It's sad when you see them take something that was beloved, absorb it, thinking it's going to work. I mean, personally, I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Need for Speed, Burnout. Oh, that would be great. Maybe a crossover game. Maybe just call it Need for Speed Burnout. Make a new entry. But they didn't. It's like they took the team, they took some of that life and spark and threw it into one of the Need for Speed.
They just didn't get the energy, and
then that was it. Yeah. That was it.
Just to show you can't. I mean, you never could. You can't just buy something hoping to keep the magic still there.
Right.
So.
You can't just throw money at it and expect,
That is also not to say, and to BioWare folks out there, that is also not to say that you can't turn things around, right?
Yeah,
so,
I really hope so. Look,
yeah, I mean, they've got a low rating. I think a lot.
What is it? What is it on Metacritic right now?
55, which also, I think.
I'm not a fan of the whole
gamers are so mean.
As soon as they see a number, they associate the number with a feeling, and
if they don't get what they think they should have gotten, they just turn on the game. So you get this sort of hate machine going, and
no,
once there's a hate machine moving on a game, it's hard to turn that ship around. But they could do it.
They can.
We've got a lot of examples of games that have, right? Destiny's done it. I don't think Division ever did it, but definitely they had a rough patch, and then they put in that patch 1.8.
That was interesting, right? The Division, it was like the game started, it was good, then it got a little bit of bad press, and it slowed down. But that didn't stop the developers from just pumping out content, even after the game was long shelved for many people. I mean, we talked about this many episodes ago.
I returned to it. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was some of the best content I think I've ever seen in a game. And they did that bleed over. They did that. We're going to pump out content to its last day. And then, boom, 2's going to drop. And you're going to feel like you didn't miss anything. Like there wasn't a lull in content.
By all counts, I mean, I'll be able to tell us next week, Division 2 has been fantastic, right? Like everyone loves it. Lots of great content. Lots of good stuff. Good reviews. Good games. So relatively smooth release compared to a lot of the big box games that have come out in the last few weeks, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. Sad for Anthem. But you know, they can always turn around. They could be a niche game in this market nowadays. You can always have the niche looter shooter. It's a crowded field, however, right? And
right.
The old, I don't know how fast you want to segue this, but the old juggernaut of the looter shooters is definitely coming at the end of the year, right? So
absolutely, folks. If you are a gamer in any way, shape, or form and sleeping under a rock for the past 5 days, I will tell you this much: Borderlands 3 has finally been announced.
Yep, it's been officially announced. Huge trailer, just
my god,
jaw-dropping, heart-pounding.
So Pedro,
I remember how much fun I had playing this game on a trailer, right? And the love is there. You could tell the fans are thrilled. Check out that Borderlands 3 trailer. It is ridiculously good.
Yeah, so Pedro and I got to experience it in the best way possible. We were there. We were 50 feet away from Randy Pitchford announcing this game. You know, really magic tricks and all.
Yep, waited 2 hours. We waited like 2 hours online.
2 hours in line. So
the
line started at noon. We got in pretty quickly, even though it looked like it was a big line. We were barely at the tip of the iceberg when it came down to that line. And 3,000 people packed into that main theater, and 3,000 people got the Borderland mask. We got the Psycho
showered with loot, right?
We showered with loot. We did. We walked in when I expected they gave us that. That was it. And then they had some announcements. Of course, they had tons of announcements. They made the announcement that Bulletstorm was coming to the Switch, and they teased a little of Duke Nukem in there as well. So the whole Duke Nukem Bulletstorm package is coming to the Switch, which is amazing. They announced a bunch of other games as well. What was
a lot of indie games? They're sort of like they had like a development. I don't know, adopting like an orphanage. I don't know what.
Yeah. What was it? Rain. What was it called? Rain
of hardness. Hard rain of steel. I don't know.
I feel like I did not.
I wrote it down, and I'm fully prepared for this particular discussion. Right?
Yeah. It's guys. Risk of Rain 2.
Risk of Rain.
Oh my god! So I've never played part 1. I had seen little bits and pieces of it here and there, but I'd never seen it. But they showed this trailer for part 2, and you could see the smile on Randy Pitchford's face, because you could tell that he was proud of the fact that his franchise Borderlands really inspired this game.
Yep.
It is a fantastic little indie title that is essentially, the way he described it the best way I think anyone could have described it. He said 3 guys made this game. He showed the trailer and it looked phenomenal. Everyone was like, what is this? 3 developers made this game. He said, this is the game that Gearbox would have made if we had 40 developers only. And Borderlands is like 500 developers. So with 40 developers, they would have pulled off what they showed in this video, and this video was 3. So there's a lot of love in this game. You can see like monsters and shooting and loot and like numbers. It looks like a low res Borderlands, but not in a bad way. Like it's just very sci-fi. You drop ships, drop down.
It looks like a Star Fox looter shooter.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I can get behind that. That's great. Yeah. Good fun. Looks simple, fast. And the boss fights look crazy. It looks like some crazy boss fights.
It looks like there's good co-op, good.
And you know me, I'm a sucker for a co-op game. I don't know if I'm a sucker for a PC co-op game. Sorry, but I am a sucker for a co-op game. I'm like 98% console, right? I just
and it's not that you don't want to play. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you play Civ 6 on there because
it's just that my community's on the Xbox, right?
All right.
Such as it is, the folks I know play on the Xbox. I know some folks that play on the PC, but it's just not the same. Or I'm not making it the same as really what it is. I could
It's
make
just because I reminded myself. Did you see what the Civ guys did today? This was just a piece of news that just flew on my phone earlier today.
no.
They announced cross play saves.
Wow, with the Switch?
Yeah, so your copy right there with whatever patch they release today or the next few days or so, you'll be able to click a box that says cross save, and you click it, and then you basically log in with your 2K account, I guess is what they're calling it. And once you have that 2K account linked, you can fire up your Switch, and it'll grab your save, and you can continue your game mobile, save there.
That's
and
interesting because I didn't think the Switch had the expansions.
Yeah, well, looks like that's all happening soon.
I actually have not bought the newest expansion for Civ 6 yet because I don't feel like I've mastered the current one. But I keep reading all the strategies in the new one. I'm like, maybe I should just learn those because I don't. Why am I learning this one if I'm just going to have to learn it all over again when I get the new X pack? But
right.
yeah.
But yeah, so PAX, so before we get off tangent on that, PAX, we got to talk about it because this was the monstrosity. This was our entire weekend.
They dropped this news on Thursday. Borderlands 3 blew our minds. Just a fantastic looking trailer. It's across worlds, which, I think if we went back into our episode archive, we talked about it being across worlds like episode 1 or 2.
We did. So we talked about it. We said that was our prediction.
Multiple vaults. I think we may have said it was an MMO, but they didn't tease that. It looked like it was 4-player co-op, which is awesome. New vehicles, new characters. I'm looking forward to the cosplays, right?
Oh, God.
Some amazing stuff is going to come out of there. Same general art design, which is great, right? They're not trying to...
They're not reinventing the wheel.
They're not reinventing the wheel, but they're delivering more of what we love, which I'm thrilled about.
Which... That's something that BioWare should have listened to their fans with the Mass Effect series.
And it's hard. I think you could do that as Gearbox. Hard to do when you got EA breathing down your neck, right?
Right. So that's exactly that. That's kind of the moral of it. They announced a couple more other things. They called this the year of Borderlands. So what they announced as well is they announced a 4K ultra high def update for Borderlands 1. Which is also kind of a remaster, so it's never been released on PS4 and Xbox One, but we're getting it. It drops tomorrow, actually, April 3rd. And if you own it on PC...
4-player co-op, though.
Right, so they turned on 4-player co-op.
They didn't just change the graphics.
No. It's a whole new engine.
Co-op is a whole new... That's a whole new thing. When it's going from 2, I think it was maxed out a 2-player co-op.
Max a 2-player.
It might have been maxed out a 2-player co-op couch, like split screen. I don't think it was ever...
No, I think we could do 4-player, but remember we went through some of the final X packs before Borderlands 2 came out. Remember the General Knox one with your brothers?
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right, that's right.
No,
so we did.
I remember the final ones being I thought they were PvP ones with arenas and stuff like that. But
yeah,
maybe there was like one story and then a couple.
You know what? It's been so long that it's going to be.
Looking forward to going back
and playing part 1 again and again.
In fact, we got to punch in those codes today, right? They expire
tomorrow.
So okay.
I tried. I've been trying. It says come in April 3rd. So that was another thing. Another bit of loot that they gave us is they you turn to the left and these cards are being passed down, and we looked at them and it's like, oh, they're giving away free shift keys, and he comes on stage and he goes, everyone just got a copy of this game for free. So they gave everyone a copy of the remaster for any system that you want. You can redeem the key, and then they also give you flip the card over and it was a copy of the handsome collection.
Yep.
Which is great because they also updated all the skins there, so everything is now 4K.
So you can pick which system you want it on, which is awesome, right? So you get your preferred system. I'm sure you're gonna buy it for all the systems anyway, right, Joe? Is that
you know, boss?
Well, I'm gonna pick the Xbox.
No, it'll be on Xbox for sure. There's no reason to play. I don't play with anyone multiplayer on PS4 anyway, so. It'll be Xbox.
I'm excited for that. It might actually compete with my Division 2 time, especially Borderlands 1, which it should be a real treat to go through.
I'll probably be online tomorrow. I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna redeem the key maybe tonight at midnight my time and get that redeemed and get that download started. So when I come home, put the kids to bed.
It was a great way to kick off the PAX East experience, right? Because they did that drop on Thursday.
They did.
They kind of set the scene. They didn't really have any floor space, right?
No, they didn't. They did not.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like they didn't have any floor space to sort of follow up on that love, but you know, it's they do what they want, right? They're Gearbox, but they've always been associated with PAX Eats. It's easy to forget that the Borderlands 2 dropped there, the first Borderlands dropped there. Like they've always had a room there at PAX East, and there's a lot of love for them.
There is.
So the way they put on a great show.
Must have been the reason he decided to announce it here. And what was great is Randy. Well, we've talked about Randy before in other episodes, for sure.
God bless that guy.
God bless that guy. You know, we have. You know, okay. It's interesting when we talk about somebody and we read about him over the news, but when you get to meet the guy and get to see him, and I'm going to say meet the guy because I got to meet and talk to the guy. He's on stage and he definitely has that showman charisma for sure.
Dude, he's a Carney Barker. He's a total showman.
Yeah, he's totally a Barnum.
But also like he had like an open collar with the gold chain, and you're like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah. Dude
you ooze Vegas to me, baby.
Yeah. He definitely. I mean, he had on a coat. He had on a coat on the show floor, and it was nothing but Space Invaders print on it, and he was rocking the buttons and whatnot and schmoozing with people. It was nice because he didn't have a booth, so he decided to just walk around the floor. And most people don't even know what Randy Pitchford looks like, but I had just seen him like a day ago, so he's walking down the floor, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm like enjoying the show, and we got to talking and took a selfie, and he saw me post it on there, but. The dude is really approachable and really showmany, and I kind of regret not having my mask on so I can get him to sign it.
Yeah, because those are already selling. Which
I know. So I was in the airport, and there was a guy there that was flying back from PAX, and he goes, "Hey, did you check out eBay? I didn't get to go to it, but did you check on eBay? Those masks are selling for like $150." And I was like, "What?" And sure enough, I pull it up, and
they're like cheap vacuum sealed.
Yeah, they're like vacuum form masks with really good paint job, but they've got little eye like those eyes.
You barely see or breathe through it, but
yeah, I mean it looks cool when it's on, but just don't look at it too close.
Yeah,
but it's rubber band backing. Like it's
anybody out there who's listening. If you are like, I must have one of these masks for $150, just don't do it. That's
don't
like
do it.
That's
invest in
that's the pre-order canvas bag from Fallout 76. Don't do it. You're going to be full of regrets.
Don't do it. Take that $150 and invest it in a 3D printer and print yourself your own.
Wait for the premium collector edition of Borderlands 3. Like you're going to pre-order it probably. That's the kind of person you are. Just do that.
Yeah, just do that. Which this guy's going to do.
Watch Joe lose his mind. I'm not pre-ordering it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there will be day one pre-order. There are not games that I pre-order much. There are Mortal Kombat's I tend to pre-order. I always like their statues and whatnot. That I know I'm silly. I like.
No, I'm more like you're not a pre-order guy.
I didn't even pre-order Red Dead. I just bought it day one. But I didn't pre-order.
Yeah, you're a day one buyer. One buyer.
I'm a day one buyer, but I'm not a pre-orderer as much because I've learned. I'm like, there's no need. I could walk into any Best Buy and pick up my copy right off the shelf. Unless I want a specific edition with like a specific something that it comes with, like a collectible, then yeah, I know I'm not stupid. Those things don't last very long on the shelf. But I don't want a canvas bag. I'm not going to spend $200 on a freaking canvas.
It's not even that. The happiness doesn't last very long in your heart.
Yeah.
It doesn't fill that gaping hole that we're always trying to fill with.
We're always trying to fill with stuff. I keep shoving stuff into it, and it just doesn't fill. No, but Borderlands really set the tone. They announced it. Oh, they also announced a board game. It was a nice little fun card game, which I promptly picked up because I'm a consumer whore. And
Plus, it has a shift code in it, everybody. So
plus, it does have a shift code. If you look behind the box, guys, there's a shift code. So yeah, absolutely.
Spoilers for all the Borderlands fans out there. I'm sure I haven't punched in a shift. I was telling Joe, I was like, I don't remember my shift ID. It's been so long.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I got to do it because I got to punch in that.
Figure all that shit out.
The teaser.
Yeah, we gotta do all that tomorrow and tonight. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna right after we record this, I'm gonna log on so I can get it set up. Because if you didn't know, something else that I forgot to mention is Borderlands 1 has shift code capabilities.
That's right. So you get new heads. They changed you can actually reskin your whole character.
You can reskin your whole character. Whole new heads, whole new costumes, color shifts, everything, all of that. So it's Borderlands 2 in Borderlands 1. Like chocolate and peanut butter all over again, man. Like but
it's so delicious.
So delicious. I'm excited because it looked really good. And it's gonna feel really weird to play Borderlands 1 again. Since I've played through Borderlands 2 like 50 times, playing Borderlands 1 is gonna feel weird. Because
I hope they didn't change the fact that you can blow off that guy's leg at the very beginning. There was like a boss.
Yeah.
That like once you reach a certain level, every time he came at you, you're like, "Come on, man, this is the guy again."
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Like worthless purple pistol that you didn't need anymore. Oh god, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna love it.
So many happy
what's
memories.
interesting is Borderlands 1, they had no voice acting. Like all the NPCs had the voice acting, but but the Vault Hunters didn't. But Borderlands 2, all of those Vault Hunters had voices. They had like these very specific voices. Like when you met or is it Mordecai? Is when you met Mordecai, when you met
Mordecai was the sniper, yeah.
The sniper, you met all of them, you met Brick, they all had these great was it Randall? What is it? The soldier. I
don't remember his name.
I'm gonna be torched for that, but anyway, they all had these iconic voices, and they became the NPCs.
Mordecai and Brick were more of the big characters in part 2, so it's
and the Siren. Well, actually, all were because one of them passes away. Remember? There's no spoilers. You cannot spoil Borderlands 2 anymore. If this spoils Borderlands 2 in any way, shape, or form, you're missing out.
If it does spoil Borderlands 2 for you, we're sorry, but we're also not sorry because you should have played the game by now. Like
it's only been out for like 7 years.
Who should be sorry for not having played the game before? It's a
fantastic game, but yeah, no. So everyone's there. Tiny Tina's back in Borderlands 3, which is phenomenal. Again, guys,
that's Ash, right? That's Ash. Yeah. What's her name? Yeah.
So she's back. At least her voice is. I know her brother was one of the developers. So I don't know if he's back or not. I haven't read anything on that.
He was a developer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how they did those fun videos? What is it? What you playing? What you playing now? Ash. Yeah. You play Ash. Her brother was one of the developers at Gearbox.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he was one of the story developers. So I'm not sure if he's back or what. Who knows? Whatever.
It's awesome.
Looks good. Looks great. New villains, more guns. 1 billion guns. So good. So good. I'm excited for tomorrow. There'll be probably more talk about it next week because tomorrow there'll be more news dropping that final release date, which was leaked today on accident by them by a tweet that they promptly deleted.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, the Borderlands account accidentally posted a post that said like September 16th, and then they posted a small.
Did that happen yesterday?
Happened today, this morning.
Oh, all right. Because
yesterday. Maybe it did happen yesterday.
You just can't fucking trust like a whole 30 hours of the internet. Like you can't. Anything that comes out.
Anything that comes out.
Like Imgur put the meh button, and I'm not gonna lie, I was actually excited for it. I was like, sometimes you want to hit an arrow, but you don't want to hit the down arrow because you feel bad. Like, I want the button.
Yeah. So did they kill that? Did it work?
I guess it's gone. It was gone today on my app, and I was like,
no. We need more meh.
Meh button. Why would they get rid of that meh button? So there's a whole 30 hours of the internet where you can't trust anything anyone says. So September 16th in my mind sounds right. As if you're one of those folks that reads earnings announcements, right? So Gearbox did do earnings announcements where they talked about a major release.
Oh, it's totally you. That's all you. I love it.
In the back, they talked about a major release in the back half of 2019. So when you're talking to your stockholders, you're going to be vague, but you're also going to be truthful. So back half of 2019 is totally September, right? So that's the perfect timing to immediately pound out your third and fourth quarters and score $1 billion, and everybody gets a big bonus.
You know what's amazing about that is they're going to release it September 16th, which is kind of what Destiny did. Destiny always does this. And then before the end of the year, by November, we get that first X pack.
Oh, yeah.
So I guarantee you we're going to get Borderlands 3, and by November to early December, we're going to get that first DLC.
We're going to get our...
delicious DLC.
Borderlands Battle Arena with Moxie running it. That's what we're gonna get. It's gonna be Battle Royale Moxie.
Are they reading your dream journal? You're gonna read your dream journal.
You're gonna be like, God damn it, Borderlands! Why do you don't have to release a Battle Royale? Wait, Moxie. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Moxie.
I'm sorry, Moxie.
Sorry, Moxie.
It's all right.
Orc's gonna be like, it's gonna be great. It's
Dude, you know, it's so funny because Battle Arena. I find it hilarious that at the panel they were like, "We are not releasing a Battle Royale game. Mm-hmm. We are not releasing a Battle Royale." I was like, it was just like squash that crap. But in all fairness, if they added an expansion to it and they made it a Battle Arena game of some sort with Moxie and Torg as the runners of this arena, oh. Dude, without fail, I'd play the crap out of that.
Wasn't one of the DLCs for Borderlands 2 essentially like a single player battle arena? Like you have to like fight your way through a crowds of like bandits. Yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So back half of the year, that's when their earnings announcement. They have to make another one, maybe, I guess, from a stockbroker perspective. So or I should say a holder perspective. So that's when their earnings announcement is gonna blow up. September 16th. If that's the actual date, it makes complete sense. It's not quite. It's the last week of summer, right? So you can get away with saying summer 2019 to your stockholders.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right. So it's like
the last week of last week of summer. I you know, it honestly, Gearbox gives me a lot of great birthday presents, and that's right around the time for me. So nice. Maybe I'll just take the week off and just Borderlands 3 out. Just take off my shirt and fucking play games. Send my kid to school and just play games all day.
I'm excited to see about what the 4 Vault Hunters are going to be. They showed them and they looked phenomenal. We got another Siren.
Another Siren. She looks like a melee Siren, which I'm excited.
Oh my God! Yeah, she was small. She had guns, and when she did the Shiva,
she brought more guns to the show, which is
oh my God! She brought the gun show. She was just like, what? I was like,
I know so that's good. What that was like. All right.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not one. I like the Siren, but I don't play the Siren. I usually play as like the big. Like I'm usually the big guy, the weird guy. Like I like the Gunzerker was my favorite in the last one before they released the Technomancer, which the Technomancer became my favorite after the.
And she was a pet caster. She was a pet caster. The Mechnomancer. The
Mechnomancer. That's right.
And I think there's that big dude with the hood. He's got the pet, so he's probably going to be the sort of pet class.
Yeah. So if you saw the trailer, didn't pay attention, you've got this like robotic guy, kind of like he's got like a big like face with like one glowing circle eye of some sort, and it looks like it changes in the game. You can make skins or whatever, but he's also hooded, and he's got a big gun. But he looks like he can like make pets. So from what I've seen is he had a skag as a pet on one point, but then he also had another pet later on. So you might be able to like that'll be like a upgrade tree maybe for the pet.
Probably, yeah. I mean, knowing how they do it, and then the little one, the short one with the army helmet on.
Yeah,
it looks like female. She can summon robots. It looks like she can like summon.
Right, so she's going to be kind of like the Technomancer.
Which leaves the last guy as like a gunslinger because he looked like he was like a single-handed gun expert.
He looked older though. He had like a white beard. He looked very Hammerlocky in a way.
I think he might be like a Hammerlock. I mean, not a Hammerlock character, but kind of a Hammerlock inspired character. And he's going to be like a one-hand shooter kind of guy. Like
he didn't get to play the pre-sequel.
Like Mordecai he could be a one-hand shooter build, right? You could either be a sniper or a
pistol build. So it'll be the gun guy, the big build guy, the psionic
melee guy, and it looks like 2 pet classes, right? Because that little one can summon big robots, which I'm excited for.
Or at least she puts them on. From what I saw, it's like she builds them around her body. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Or other people, because there was one scene where the old guy was riding one of the big robots. So maybe maybe she just drops like she calls in a Titan, and boom, who knows?
That would be awesome. Different worlds. That was the big thing with an S. So this is going to be multiple vaults, multiple worlds, lots of content, lots of world building that they can do on this game, which leaves us that. Just like last time, we got 2 DLC characters. I can only imagine we're going to get 2 at least minimum this time.
I believe 2+, yeah, probably
2+. Easily.
Also, I thought it was cool that they were tying in the characters from the other Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes, that was great. Which is a game that I have not finished. Which was
dude, it's so good.
I know, it's so good. I'm all about the story on Borderlands too. I sat down and played through the first 2 episodes, and then I don't know what happened. I think.
Oh my God! How did you stop? It just kept getting better and better.
I think I played it when the 360 was ending its cycle and the Xbox One came out, and then I jumped on the launch of that, and then I never came back to it. And I know they gave them away, So
Yeah, I think it's free. I mean, there was like a
a
Xbox
giveaway
Live.
gold.
That's how I got it on the Xbox One. So
Yeah.
pick it because it's great. It's good fun. It's 5 episodes. You could probably get it done in like 10 hours, right?
Yeah. And it's great. It's Telltale at their best, and
Same sense of humor, and every episode gets crazier than the one before, which is, of course, how it should be, right?
How it should be. Anything Borderlands should be that way. No. It's great. I should go back and sit down and play those so that way I can get those characters because I know that they're branching everybody. That trailer showed everybody. All of the Hammerlocks, like the entire Hammerlock family was there.
Yeah, it's true.
They had oh my God! I played it so many times.
Oh, by the way, we're officially changing this podcast to the Borderlands 3 podcast.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to talk about PAX, guys. We're talking about the
games. We'll talk about Sonic every so often, but really Borderlands 3.
Borderlands. This game is near and dear to both of our hearts. We played so much. I think you have every achievement
for Borderlands 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's one of my proudest things. Looking at that score to see what is it, 1680 out of 1680, or
it's ridiculous because they added 1,000 per DLC, I think, right, or something like that, or
it was like 200. I think 210 or 220 per DLC, and then 1,000 for the original game.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I do have more than. Maybe it is like 2,200 achievement points for that.
Yeah,
regardless, I maxed out every single thing you can do. I beat every boss. I found everything. Even did some of the crazier challenge, like killing 40,000 people with the shotgun. Right, I even did those because I need to get those two.
And you know what? You enjoyed every moment of it.
I did. I really did.
Yeah, it's one of those games.
It got me to play classes I didn't usually play, like the ninja dude, who I didn't really like playing, but I played him.
Zero. Yeah, I don't play. You and me are kind of the same on that. Everyone loves playing that sniper ninja class, and I'm like, that wasn't my deal.
Because his power revolved around a sword, and first-person melee is not my jam. I'm not very good at it. Brick was probably the hardest character I could ever play in the first Borderlands because I could never get those fists to land.
Yeah.
So it's just hard for me to get there. I mean, jump puzzles and melee are probably the two things I'm like, why would you put this in a first-person game? But
right.
I get it. They always do.
So one of the things that I'm really excited for, actually, and we did see the avatars are from the second game in the trailer. So the Siren has now got long blue hair. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Blue hair so she's got no longer short hair. She's got long hair, and so everyone's grown up. Tiny Tina's older. We get to see all of the Gunzerker was there. They showed all of them there. So that's going to be interesting to see these characters that were on 2 that were silent because you play them will now have voices, kind of like Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 to 3, all of the avatars, they all have voices in their like attacks, like the Gunzerker talk like this,
Right.
But all those voices will now be voices that will have like lines and they'll be NPC.
Right.
So I'm excited, man. Like I can't.
I know you could. Can you feel the hype, people? We are hyped. We are excited.
That particular.
This is about as excited as I get, unless it's Dwarven Forge. Right?
Unless it's Dwarven Forge, which good segue. We walked that floor. I was putting in 4+ miles a day. Mm-hmm. At least my watch said so. And I walked.
There was one booth you could always find me stopping by.
Right, and the one booth was Dwarven Forge, guys. If you're not familiar with Dwarven Forge, you wanna explain to them what this amazing product is made of.
So it's
Dwarvanium, Dwarvenite.
So if you're at all part of the tabletop sort of role-playing world, Dwarven Forge has been around for a really long time, right? So they started by making resin terrain sets for your dungeons to sort of. They were the high-end premium, like if you had a rich friend who had benefited from the .com boom, right? They had Dwarven Forge terrain that they played Dungeons and Dragons on. Essentially, it's adult Legos. You could set up your dungeon. It's really highly detailed, really strong plastic. I actually let my daughter play with them every so often. But they've built themselves an enormous collection, right? So they've got dungeons and caves and cities and castles, and then they've gone back into the dungeons, and they recently went back into the caves. It is a glorious sight to behold when it's on the table. And this is their first year, I think. I don't think I ever seen them before at PAX East. So
Nate said that this was their first year there, which was awesome.
Yeah, and they're based in Brooklyn, so why wouldn't they at least try it once, right? So easier maybe for them to go to Unplug in Philly, but this is the place, and they had a great spot on the corner, and you could see everyone going by.
They need a bigger booth next year if they go, for sure.
Dude, I don't know what they were selling, right? So again, I wasn't the target consumer, right? I know they had on
You
Amazon.
weren't the target consumer because you already owned everything they had. Let's be real here, folks. There's not many times I get to like not shame him, but like say that he's the bigger dork. Like he knows that I've got all of this crap everywhere. But let me tell you guys, when we walked up to the Dwarven Forge, he knew all of their names. He knew every product. He was just like a kid in a candy store, and it's a side of Pedro that I don't get to see very often because he's very meh. Like he's like, yeah, this is cool. Whatever. I'm cool. I'm chill.
I could live without
he's like, I've got that. I've got that. I've got that. I've got your special edition of that. I got the gold set of that. He was just like, I'm talking. I know. Where's this guy? Where's this guy? And I was just like,
what's going on here?
What's going on here? Like, this is a side of P. I'm not.
Well, to be fair to me, I've also dumped. Do
you want to say that number online?
Like a year's worth of college tuition, right? So, a city college, everybody, but still a respectable amount of money into my Dwarven Forge terrain sets, right? So
yeah, guys, we're talking at more than a grand, maybe under 10, maybe.
Definitely under 10, but it's under 10 because I felt bad if I got that far, right? Like I would have done it if I had more money.
Well, that doesn't mean you're not going to eventually, right? Like they will release something else.
They have another Kickstarter coming this year, and probably I'll dump another $400 or $500 into it. And I didn't buy it. I got to see their forest terrain
in person.
Last year's Kickstarter, and I'm kicking myself for not figuring out a way to buy more of it, right? So
I was impressed by the metallic plates that they had. So
innovation, dude, innovation.
So these guys, if you're not familiar, again, go look them up. I'll post a link in the show notes. But Dwarven Forge, what they're known for is they've got an interlocking dungeon system. So and it's not. I'm not even talking like squares. Like they've got. I mean, guys,
these are gorgeous, highly detailed pieces. Like I know in the age of 3D printing and this is do it yourself, make it out of foam core.
Oh yeah,
this stuff blows both of those out of the water, right? They're works of art, and
they are every single
piece you buy is worth it to put on the table. The drawback is that once you put them down on the table, putting any sort of other thing next to them, you're just like, eh.
Right. Like you can't even you put it down and then you need to make like a home piece or a piece that like a custom piece, and you're like, no, let's get this off the table. Let's just play with what they got because it looks that good. Yeah. There's some video that I've got that I'll throw up soon. I'm putting in kind of a PAX super.
Super
cut of what we saw kind of through our eyes kind of thing. But one of the fun ones, my favorite set, they've got a lot of sets. They got a castle set and a forest set and all this stuff. One of these cool set was like a cavern underground set that looked very organic, and
the burrows is what they call it,
I guess, right? And it was like very, very tubular / the sides kind of curled up. So it was we're definitely underground.
Like a big monster den.
Right, so it wasn't just square hallways, and so it looped and it wrapped and it went over, and you could set risers to go above and under, and then the set pieces, they had like these alien kind of looking things, like these like bug monsters, and they had like little pieces with like eggs in it, like egg sacs, and it just looked so creepy. It was just oh god!
The best part about that terrain is that you can actually pop out the egg sacs and put spikes if you wanted to put traps there, or pop out the spikes and put mud.
Everything is modular.
Got like crazy modular customization.
Lights. They have little lights, and
that's another set that like I picked up just like a basic level burrow set because I was like, how often are my players going to dig into these caverns?
But then once you see it in person, once
I see it in person, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to make sure they fucking go into the caverns.
Right. Everything about these sets is like, no, we're just going to have them in the forest, and then you see them, and then I won't do that, and then you see it, and you're like, oh my god. What I totally done it, not just because you automatically get inspired. These are set pieces you look at and you automatically get inspired and you want to play tabletop.
Yep, and I mean, and they were running like short 2-hour D&D one shots.
Yeah,
and they were a blast. Like they were run by the staff, and the staff clearly loves the hobby, clearly loves the games, and ran a fun little like 2-hour one shot. So I wish I had written down her name, but she did a great job running our one shot. there, and it didn't feel like a hard. I don't know, man. It was a great event, and I love Dwarven Forge. If you get the chance to check out Dwarven Forge, because they just restocked, so they got a ton of product. Buy it up.
Yeah, so they just restocked. They've got a website you can buy pieces, buy all sorts of stuff, but also look them up on Amazon. They just started selling a starter set on Amazon, which
is like one room dungeon, right?
A one room dungeon, but it kind of gets it going, and it looked amazing. So this is it's a big deal. It's kind of a
huge step for them going on, because that's sort of like that's a big move, right? Because they're kind of a boutique shop that you had to buy through their website, and it was always PayPal. And putting them on Amazon is a huge move for them. That means that they are secure in their supply chain, that they think they can fill orders, right? That's the hard part. That's always been the hard part for them. They haven't been able to fill orders consistently. So I hope they've got their chain together and they can do it, and they're hiring, because I'll move to Brooklyn for Dwarven Forge.
Do it. No, yeah. So that was one booth that he geeked out at quite a bit, and I think
it was the only one I geeked out at. Right?
You enjoy everything, but to really show that like fanboy moment for him, that was that for sure.
Yeah, no, they were good stuff. Dwarven Forge was there. A lot of folks were there. I mean, Xbox was there. They were showing off their Xbox Live Pass, as they always do.
You got to play some indie titles, and the one you chose was After Party.
Yeah,
right?
That one's coming soon to Xbox Live Pass. Interesting sort of indie game where, I mean, you're just a pair of, I guess, drunks, college kids who got drunk and wound up in hell, and it turns out hell is just one long party. So you got to navigate your way through. Really weird controls, really weird game, but a really, really funny sense of humor, which I'm excited for games with senses of humor about themselves. So good stuff. And, in fact, all of the indie games I played, I was so excited for. And I can go through the names, like Aqua Lungers was fun. The Thulu one I played was fun, where you sort of couch play. They're all coming for Switch, Joe's, which I found to be like, wait a minute. I mean, every single one of these games were going to Steam and Switch. I just saw that over and over again. I'm like, where's the Xbox? Where's the Xbox love? Where's the console?
And what's going on here with that? What I think is the Switch is a fun system to develop for. It's mobile. It puts everything in everyone's hands. They apparently got a pretty good eShop. They're able to run deals and whatnot.
And their demographic is exactly the one you want to target with these small games, which I had never considered. That the age of Xbox and PlayStation 4 players is much higher. And Nintendo's always had the young folks, but this is Nintendo's console. Like I'm still thinking of it as the DS. A sort of a mobile console, which anyone could own, but this is actually Nintendo's console, and people who play Nintendo's console skew younger, right? Because that's what the parents are buying, the safer games for them, right?
I mean, an example to this is Switch and Steam. Ape Out on my flight home, I decided to pull it out. I threw my headphones on and played it, and the dude next to me was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's Ape Out," and they're like, "I thought that was only on Steam." And like, "No, it's on the Switch as well." It's like, oh my God, and he was sitting there watching me play. I ran through a whole level.
Yeah, so it looks like the Switch might be stealing my 3D printer funding, as it's going to have to be to bring it back to our original idea, right? That this seems to me like it's going to be the family system, right? It was the Wii for a long time, where every family had to have a Wii. I didn't think the Switch was going to be a replacement for that, but it seems like it will be, right?
Yeah.
All of these couch games that I saw, every single one of the couch games that I saw.
We played that one game. What is it? Joggernauts is what it was called. The one where we chose the different colors. It's already out.
Keep going.
Whenever you pick the color, and then you run in a line, and then the color that is the monster is in front. You have to switch and throw yourself up to the front of the line.
I remember the game now. I don't remember the name of it.
It's called Joggernaut, I think is what.
Juggernaut. Right, because you're Juggernaut and Juggernaut. Yeah, that was a neat little one. That was actually harder in execution than concept, right? Basically, you're on a line, and you each have a color, and you just have to bash objects with the right color. So if I'm blue, when a blue object is coming on the screen, I better make sure I'm in the front of the line. But
things came up and changed. So, for example, some of the enemies were worms with segmented body parts, and they were different colors. So it would be like red, blue, green, white. as the monster, and then so you would have to put yourself in that order and then touch, and then that next color better hit your switch button and throw those up to the front.
Yeah, and the only challenge is that one of your friends could easily hit their button because they panicked. So even though you're correct, you know exactly your sequence. So like it was interesting play because at first we were all like, I mean, it was me and you and then two strangers, and we didn't know what we were doing. And then like there was this glorious switch halfway through. We're like red, blue, like we're yelling out the colors together.
Boom, boom, we're getting it. And you're like, red, get him back, jump, get that trophy while I kill him. Yeah, because you knew
this is exactly what you want from a couch game, right? So this sort of discovered game. I mean,
and again,
it was great.
Switch,
simple concept, 2 buttons,
Steam,
jump, switch, Switch and Steam, right? It's everything Switch and Steam, which I have to face facts on, right? So it's going to be the family system, which is pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Oh,
I should say it's already the family system. I was actually talking to one of the developers. You know, they had sort of a goofy, dash and punch game where you just were trying to knock players off into borders. That's the only way you could damage them, was knocking them off the map.
Okay.
And I was like, she was like, yeah, we're doing Steam and Switch. And I was like, really? Not Xbox? She's like, you know what? Switch skews younger, and that's the target audience we're going with our game here. And it's faster to get on that platform, and we'll do Xbox later. But right now, that's the easiest one to get multiplayer games on. And I'm like, all right, then that's good news. So my kid's gonna have a Switch in her future, right? So as soon as any money comes through, any windfalls, that's going to be a Switch. So very exciting.
Yeah,
I mean, it's decided. It's funny. I feel like you've been talking up the Switch. I've been reading about it and hemming and hawing, but actually seeing the amount of content that is going to drop on there, plus Civ 6 is on it.
Yeah, anybody who says, I've heard this argument before and say the Switch has no games.
Yeah,
those people are idiots.
They're not paying attention. They're just
it's not even they're paying attention. It's they only want their big triple title, Grand Theft Auto 5, the same 3 games that they play on this system, and they want more of that type of content.
But those are on the Switch too. Like it
will be right. Like it makes no sense. Like you can, I mean, we're getting Doom Eternal. We're getting. I mean, they got Wolfenstein to run on this system. I mean, like, it makes no sense to me that this system can do that, but it can. It's magic. It's magic how much they're able to squeeze out of this little console. And anyone who says that it has no games are idiots, because there are thousands of games. And if you judge games by indie content, then you are just not a gamer.
Dude, that's one thing to say about PAX East is that I mean, this year the indie space, the space with the number
was the whole floor.
At least 60% of the floor was
one of the big booths. The Bandai Namco booth had Rad playing at it. And if you saw the Nintendo Direct, they showed the trailer for Rad. It's a fun game made by Double Fine. It's a 80s base kind of like, cool, rad, tubular. You play as like a kid who's like radiated, and everywhere you walk, the world is like completely nuked, and where you walk, grass grows back.
Oh, all right.
So mutate. So as you're moving through, you're over irradiating yourself, and you're morphing. So you'll like, at one point, you'll pick up enough radiation, and your arm will morph into like a big old muscle, and then your head will morph into a giant cobra. And you're doing all these things. It's just neat. But again, that's an indie title. Like, it looks like an indie title because it's developed by Double Fine. It's not a big company.
It's funny. Everyone, Double Fine's not an indie company, right?
Not anymore. But they are and they aren't.
They do support indie games.
Right? They do support indie games.
Indie game concepts. So, like, it's interesting that indie game is not only a term for a game that's actually independent outside of the big studios, but it's also a term we use for a genre. Like, a whole genre of games is indie. And that's really what was going on there. A lot of couch play, which I'm so excited to have come back.
It's back. Especially like you said, if the game is Steam and Switch, there's no reason not to add co-op on couch with it launching on Switch.
Yeah. So it's great. Look for some amazing and fun and just like fast little party games you can play on the couch with your friends, assuming you have friends, right? So.
I played a fantastic game coming out from, again, Annapurna. Is that how you say that? Annapurna Interactive. They're the same company that kind of is behind movie studios / a bunch of games that we've played out there.
It's never a name I've ever had to say out loud, right? So
Yeah, but you see it constantly.
Yeah, all the time.
White A and the black background, Annapurna. But once you say it out loud, you're like, it sounds weird.
Right?
But they had a game right there on the end cap there that was just phenomenal looking. It was called Sayonara Wild Hearts. And it was weird. I was like, what is this? And the poster had all these like I guess it looked very like school out, like vests and ties with like domino masks on with like samurai swords, very like Kill Bill-esque kind of looking. And the concept of the game is it's a pop album video game. So you play the game and it's like an infinite runner kind of thing where you're like fighting and the music plays and it's like a music video from like, you're like running and then all of a sudden you're flying and you're underwater and then you're fighting. You're on a motorcycle and the colors are very 80s, techno-y, flashy. I mean, it was a beautiful game. Steam Switch.
And
it just like,
that's
oh my
that's
God.
the big news. It's interesting watching Xbox on there. I mean, PlayStation never has had a presence on there. I don't think Sony had a space this year. I mean, Dead by Daylight was.
They did, but they were doing VR. Like,
yeah, they were,
again.
Oh yeah, there was there were enormous VR booths.
VR preference.
I love me some VR. I don't love me the lines that always form for VR because it's a singular experience, right? One person plays for 10 minutes and everyone has to wait while they do it. But the booths look really cool. You know, if I had to tell them anything, they didn't have any TV screens for people to watch the person playing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
not everyone did. No.
Why would they?
It's because most of these games, because we're done with the sit down and play. Everyone wants to move on to the next generation of VR, which is mobile without having the big cameras and sensors. So Oculus and all that was showing off all their new headsets, their Focus headset, which is
I'm all right with that.
Got the
sensors. If I'm waiting online, just show me what they were looking at.
But these rooms were big enough that they needed to have all the space to move around in, and so they were like enclosed within the booth. Which, by the way, FYI, I talked to someone from that worked for Mixer. And they said that PAX had a rule this year that said 75% of their booth had to be public accessible. So, which is why you stopped seeing the big lounges. Remember, like last year, you saw Twitch with a giant booth and a giant lounge for like all of their cool people, and they could hang out.
That's right.
But no one could go in there. It was just like this giant space for like cool people, which I thought was interesting. I was like, this is a way to like segregate people, like put them up on pedestals. So that's what they did. They had to have 75% of it. So the lounges were way smaller and everything had to be accessible.
I'm sad that I didn't get the nice crudités though. There wasn't the delicious appetizers.
Well, I didn't walk up and show them the card of the fact that we have a channel on Facebook. But last year we did, and that's how I met Jason Mewes.
That's right. Well, no, last year you got to meet Jason Mewes because you basically stood up there and puppy dog eyed him.
Well, that too. But remember, we were inside. We were inside there, and we heard his voice, and we were like, we turned and looked, and he was standing right behind us. We were like,
and you were like, "What's this now?
What's going on?"
I'm gonna get to the front of the line,
right? So I didn't even have to. I just like walked outside of the booth and was like, I was dead front by the camera guy.
So great show, PAX East. I got to play a ton of board games. We followed at least one of our traditions. Joe's going to give me a hard time. We broke a bunch of others, but we followed at least one of our traditions. Saturday D&D. It's my second year running D&D for the crowd that's there. It's Joe, my two brothers, Jordan, who's I believe they did their first show today. Which was
their first show today. It's a shout out to brother. Was it brother sister?
Sister, brother, brother, sister, sister, brother, brother, sister, brother, sister.
So they've got a Twitch channel. I'll plug them. I'll plug them on our Instagram. I'll plug them on our Facebook. I'll plug them where I can.
They stream Tuesdays at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, and they do retro gaming, which I know is one of your jams. So it's
They were playing Monkey Island tonight.
There you go.
Which is fun, and they're doing a very fun concept where they're not doing faces. They've got animation, and when they talk, the animation moves. So I haven't talked to him on how he's doing it. It looks like a fun little piece of software, and
got like a PlayStation software, which I'm excited to hear about because I think I can use it to cover up my kid, if I understand it, so that we can play and stream together. And her face isn't plaster, right? I make her. She'd probably love to see herself as an animation, right? So
right, absolutely.
I can get her to sit still long enough to play some games, right? So. That's right. So Jordan's doing that, and actually he guest hosted a while back. So
Yeah, he was in our
anybody
VR
loves
episode.
Joe,
Go back and watch our VR episode.
he's there, and then two buddies of mine from college are on there as well that I still game with. So we run a big old game right on the floor. So I'm yelling over the sound of everyone else playing tabletop games and things like that. We've got a nice space, and it was a total blast, man. It was it's always a treat to run D&D for people who don't play that often because they go all out, and for my brothers especially.
It's always fun also to play a character that you might know that you're not going to be able to play again next week.
Exactly
so
right.
Play them balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall
in the most ludicrous way possible.
Yeah, we had to call out Joe for bad behavior as Joe was playing his barbarian as the stupid barbarian.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like, that's what my character would do, and everyone knows. If you know me, that is never something you say at my table because you did it, not your character.
I know.
No matter what, that's what my character would do is the defensive assholes and jerks, right?
Yeah.
And Joe pulled that not once but twice in the session, which is fine. It's fine. It was hilarious. We were all drinking and having a good time.
Why don't you tell them what I did? I want to hear it. I want to hear it from the DM's mouth. What I did. First scenario was
I wish I had the props with me. So I kicked off the session by having them escorting a caravan out to a dig. And then I had a flash flood hit that caravan. And then I told them all the gear and loot were in the wagons, right? So as predicted, right, players were like, save the loot, and rather than save the people, which cracked me up. But of course, people wash away, right? I didn't even devote miniatures to them, right? They were paper stand-ups. And I had little loot boxes, with some cards of what was inside of them, which I think worked really well, right?
Yeah, it did. It was fun. I might steal that idea. That's a good
it was
idea.
a nice little thing. Let me know, and I can send you the file, right? So it's good stuff. Good gear, fun gear. Everyone got it, and I had one box that was locked with some vital clues, and I put the lock in front of them. And it's funny. I put the lock in front of them, and they had the other pack with the thieves' tools. And my brother was literally like, I'm going to use my thieves' tools to open it. And, of course, Joe's like, I smash it with my sword. Like, he didn't even...
I literally walked up. I was like, there's a lock on this. I just grabbed the back end of my sword and went back down. What was funny about it was I did it, right? And there was no roll for it, no anything. The DM, which, of course, I love Pedro so much, he just let me have it, which I was like, oh, crap. I knew what that meant immediately when they let me have it. I was like, oh, no, wait, maybe I shouldn't have done that? I was like...
So, of course, that released a vial of acid that burned up the book and burned up all the paperwork that they would have had clues on. And then the fun part for me, of course, was actually taking the card of the book, which was a book of lore, and I ripped it and ripped it and ripped it and threw the pieces. So again, I use props in a lot of my games, and it really enhances the experience of that sort of moment where you can literally remove something from the physical world.
Yeah, that face of like, what? And I'm like,
and all the other players, of course, are like, oh,
and I'm like,
you get the chance to stop him, and I'm like, no, of course not, because it's hilarious to me. And then what did you do? Oh, later you activated the last fight, right?
Yeah, well, I activated the last fight, which, of course, I mean, we could have diplomatically solved the problem, but this was PAX, this was D&D. We all wanted
to smash that wraith good.
Smash that wraith good. That's what. So
So note, if you play D&D or really any role-playing game, just put in the notes, how do I get a player not to walk into a literal room full of bones? Like, what clues would you put? What signals would you need from your DM or game master to say?
So
maybe I won't.
We opened up the door and there was bones on the floor at a specific perimeter.
Depth. Yeah.
And
and the big boss's sarcophagus
sitting in the middle, and there was a platform above it, so we have to step off of the platform into the bones, and of course there was clues all outside.
Show respect.
So I'm guessing we could have kneeled, or we could have done some sort of
You would have done something cool,
something fun to show respect, but. No one mentioned it anymore. We remembered it. No one mentioned it, and everyone was busy about all the other stuff. So I said I stepped down. That was the next thing.
Everyone was like, "Oh, what? No!
What? What did I do? I just stepped down." I was like,
And of course, the bones form
The
up and
bones
form the
up,
enemy.
and they make skeletons, and we fought.
Roll initiative, everybody, right? And we kicked them. And this is after everyone survived the stone juggernaut trap.
I played the barbarian a little dumb.
Yeah. A little dumb. So it was. I mean, everybody played their character. I mean, my brother V played his character too safe, right? He was I'm going to check for this. I'm going to check for this. So, but it was good. It was a lot of fun running that D&D game. I over designed it, right? So one of the things I tried to stick to was kind of the 5-room dungeon concept, right? So think about the adventure, right? Entrance Guardian, Flash Flood. Puzzle role-playing, that was the travel montage you all did.
Right.
The red herring distraction was the kobolds. The climactic battle was the stone juggernaut. And then the final battle was, of course, the battle against Fiat, which could have been a role-playing account.
Now, right? Did the stone juggernaut have stats?
Yeah, it had stats. It had 290 hit points, but could not be damaged, right? I mean, none of you had magic weapons to damage it except that crossbow, so you had to.
So was there what? So it was meant to push us into the room.
Yeah, or I mean, it was going to crush you up against that wall because you didn't have the keys for that door, right? So you would have had to figure out how to open that door. You know what my favorite things about this session is that like you all examined tracks, you all examined the web, you all examined the treasure, but when you came to a door, no one ever was like, "Let me examine the door."
No matter how many times I could run D&D as a billion years, you can run it. Everyone could play it a billion years. I mean, Jordan plays every week with you, but you just forget to do things because it's like you're so involved in.
There's all this energy. It was like 11 o'clock, so folks. But like, I had this big door. It had a big thing above it, just like show of respect. I described the door as having the dwarven helmet and the beard, but no one like examined it closely to see that there were keyholes that they could have picked and tried to get in and things like that.
How did we get in the door?
You stopped the Juggernaut and you found the keys inside the Juggernaut. Remember? So
that's right.
Steve finally solved the puzzle, and so I had a nice Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, I've got pictures of it, which I didn't post, or maybe I did. I don't remember. It was the key, the
puzzle. I made it out of cardboard. You can go online.
It's fantastic.
Combination cardboard lock that you can build. There's a lot of videos.
Da Vinci box, right?
A Da Vinci box, yeah. So I gave them a code.
I built the Da Vinci box out of cardboard. Just give me FYI. It was pretty badass. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was PAX East. You go all out, or you don't even show up, right? Yeah. So,
like you use like a toilet roll tube and like other cardboard and wrap it around it, and you create like notches so that it fits all together, and then the cylinder slides in. You put stuff in it, and when you slide it and then turn all the key parts, it locks itself. So you need to set the rune. He had created all these runes that you set it and match it. Mm-hmm. And you open it up and you get the keys. So it was fun.
And as always, we've talked about this always with puzzles, right? I had a bunch of clues.
Right.
I pieced out those clues, and the players couldn't put it together. So I had the answer, right? And I just let them roll investigation, right? So eventually, Steve, my buddy Steve, came up with the answer by rolling up the answer and solving the puzzle. And then Jordan inputted the number with this halfling monk that almost got crushed. I will crush one of you. I was hoping for at least one death, right? Because it'd be a nice tradition every year to kill one of your characters.
Yeah.
But not this year, sadly. So, but I definitely overdesigned it because I had the Kobold Den was like 4 rooms that you would have explored by accident.
Wow.
If you want to do that, I wound up shortening the spider area. Like the spider area was actually. So I had it so that if you followed the spider tracks that you saw when you were exploring it, you would have gone in through a different way into the tomb. But because we were running out of time, I just connected it, right? So I just looped it back around to feed this.
Well, that's the great part about all of this is theater of the mind allows you to change it up.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So that's how you design a one-shot, right? I know a lot of folks, I see a lot of posts online like, I need a one-shot, I need a one-shot. I think the 5-room dungeon concept is the simplest way to do it. And also, instead of drawing out this big elaborate map, really just think about this as set pieces and moments that you want to hit, beats you want to hit and play. That way, if you need to shorten a beat or lengthen a beat, you have a toolkit, right? So you need to have, I had a potential. I mean, you guys fought an owlbear in the woods. You could have also fought will-o-wisps and centaurs, right? I had a bunch of toolkits in case I needed to elongate certain parts of it because you were moving too quick. So which was great. Like that's the sort of way I run those one shots, and it was a lot of fun. And this was all original, by the way. This was all my original design.
Loved it. The owlbear was fun. He ended up grabbing what is it? Not the archaeologist.
Yeah, the archaeologist.
He grabbed the archaeologist, the one that we saved, grabbed him, and then ripped his arm off.
Yeah. So old DM trick, right? Give him an NPC and then kill that NPC later.
And of course, we all check: is he still alive?
But
no.
they rolled 2 critical misses that fight, so I actually hit him with their own arrows both times. So
we helped put him out of his misery. He was suffering. He was ripped an arm. He was bleeding profusely.
And the owlbear was a giveaway, right? Like I think last year I had the carrion crawler, right? The little monster that with the paralyzing tentacles. This year I had the owlbear. So I don't know if you see my theme, right? The sort of pay tribute to the Gygaxian monsters, the sort of weird, esoteric D&D monsters that don't exist anywhere else. Right? The owlbear, what a ludicrous concept, but you got to put it at the table if you're going to celebrate D&D, right? So, right. I'm already trying to figure out what your 4th and 5th level encounter would be, right? So.
So you're gonna level us up to fourth level next year.
You know what? I think it'd be crazy if in 15 years all of you were 20th level, right? So like I think I might do 4th level just to level you up one every year, and your powers get bigger and bigger as you play. It's gonna be fun.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with it? Gonna keep playing that dumb barbarian, or can we smarten him up a little bit?
We can smarten him up a little bit.
Why? Y'all succeeded, right? Why change?
Yeah.
It was good fun. It was good fun.
I'll make sure that he wasn't as drunk.
And the last thing I want to mention is, I think I turned to Jill once and I said the kids will be all right. I mean, there was some fantastic cosplay from the younger generation, some really cool Fortnite outfits, some really cool Zelda outfits or Link outfits. Just a lot of kids and their parents enjoying the show together. There were points in which I wanted to stop them and be like, how the F are you doing this? Like, what's your plan at 5 o'clock? What's your plan at 6, right? How are you feeding them? How much food do you have in their bag? Not yet, right? Maybe next year I'll get the lowdown when our
But I know this goes to your head, and I'll tell you what goes through my head. Every year since I've had kids, and I see parents with their kids at this big convention, makes me miss my kids. And it makes me miss my kids in a way that, like,
I want to share the experience with them.
Right. I want to share the experience with them. So it's getting close. We're getting close to the year where we take our kids, one of our kids at least, to PAX. And
it's easier for me, obviously, than you, because flying another person.
But it will happen. It will happen. And it's fun, man. Like, I see these guys, guys and women, ladies, families. They're enjoying lunch. They've packed their lunch. They're sitting like on the floor, with the kiddo playing on his like Switch.
On the Switch.
And like cosplay. They're eating like sandwiches. They're like enjoying themselves. They get up. They go to panels. They're in line. One of the big booths that we all played. One of the first experiences we did at PAX before the panel at Gearbox was we went through and played a Secret Neighbor together. That's right. Which was, again, fun. It's the next installment from the Hello Neighbor genre, and kids were just fawning over this game. And, of course, because it's tiny build, they really got the...
Plus, it's kid game, right? It's got kids running
around. Kid game, right? Like, it is and it isn't, because that's a creepy-ass game, I'll tell you that. But it's in a creepy way, not in, like, a blood gore kind of way.
No. Psychological horror, we like to call it.
Psychological horror, yeah. And I mean, there was so much, guys. I'm going to do a roundup. I'm going to try to put a video together before the end of this week of just kind of maybe me talking about it. I played a lot. I played Falcon Age. I played Blazing Chrome, which is a kind of a Contra based style game, indie game. I played Streets of Rage 4. We played
Samurai Showdown.
We played Samurai Showdown. I got to play the VR version of Trevor Saves the Universe at the PlayStation, which is phenomenal.
So it's a great show. I will say that if you plan to go, right, Thursday is the day to enjoy it. Right, that floor.
Yeah,
I was appalled at how crowded it got Friday, and then Saturday was sort of back to normal. It was weird. Like there was a big surge on Friday, and then Saturday was back to normal. one thing I will say to the PAX folks is like, hey, get some more sweatshirts and T-shirts in there. They were sold out by Saturday.
Guys, PAX.
Which like Borderlands 3 announcement was fantastic. D&D was my highlight. Them running out of those PAX shirts by Saturday morning was the bummer. Like that was the bummer.
It's
I'm
2
like,
days.
why?
At 50%, at exactly 50% of PAX, they were already out of shirts.
On the biggest like day, right? Friday, Saturday. Are their
So that means
days.
everyone that came Saturday, which was their sellout ticket day, they had already run out of their most popular.
There was no shirts for them, right? So I managed to get one of their cool Daystar shirts, right? So obviously not my size, but you know, it's my kid's size when she gets a little bigger, so that's a cool one to get. But I was really disappointed. I was because I have last year's Explorer shirt. I was really disappointed I didn't get a chance to grab this year's Explorer shirt.
I did not buy a shirt this year. I kind of regretted it today, realizing that I was like, man, I should have gotten a shirt. But that's okay. I'll get one eventually. I'll get one, but next year. But that's not a big. I mean, But I did buy the hoodie. I bought the.
That's right. So you bought the you still can represent the year, right?
Yeah, so I represent the year because every year they change the hoodie. Every year they change whatever. So it's a weird year. This is a weird transition year for their design, I think. So we started going when they had the old PAX logo, and then like 2 years ago, 2016 is when they went to the very angular, very square. That's when they changed the patch and changed the logo. And then this year they went weird. They're going with like a melty theme, which I'm not feeling.
It's not aesthetically pleasing to me.
Yeah, I heard that from a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I don't think they ran out of the LE pin this year.
Interesting.
I don't think they ran out of the limited edition pin, which at PAX South, if you saw pictures or I've posted before, it was pizza. There was three separate pins, PAX, and it was all like gooey pizza, which was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then at PAX East here, they chose to make it.
It was like green slime, yeah.
But it wasn't green slime. It was like leopard print. It was a green leopard print. It was weird. It just wasn't aesthetically pleasing.
Chunky jello.
Chunky jello. It looked. It was green, which isn't the color of PAX East to begin with. It's red, and so all the hoodies, like the hoodie that I bought, had that same melty look for the PAX logo on the back, but it was embroidered letters, which just made it look like blood. Which I was like, okay, you know what I mean? I could say it's blood. Even the hood has got like this melty look on the top, which looks like blood. So I don't understand why they chose the pin to make it green. I don't know.
It's a big, huge pin. I mean, I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It was a weird year, I think, from a merch perspective. Especially since I think that's what happened, right? I think every other year there was two shirts of neat design, so people had a choice. This year, everyone just picked the Explorer shirt, right? They defaulted to the Explorer shirt rather than buy the slime shirt. And I think that's why you wanted.
Shirt was just not appeasing.
Not as appealing to the folks that did lime bottom shirts. But personally, I think they run out of those Explorer shirts way too fast in general, right? They're really, really awesome. The sweatshirts look glorious. And I probably would have picked up a sweatshirt Saturday if they had them instead of a T-shirt for myself. Right? I could always use a sweet PAX hoodie. Yeah, it was one of the first designs for PAX hoodies that I liked.
Yeah.
That I would rep,
which is one of the reasons that I bought it. Like I haven't bought a hoodie there ever.
Oh no, the one you bought?
Yeah,
I was talking about the blue Explorer one. The blue.
Oh, right. They had an Explorer one as well.
But I think that one sold out like midway through the day Friday.
They were sold out. Period. Like they didn't even have other sizes. They were just sold out.
I did see a lot of enforcers wearing it, so suspect.
Yeah, suspect.
Accuse. Anyway, it was a blast. I recommend it. Go make your pilgrimage.
I'll probably talk more about it in a separate video, just to kind of like wrap up some more stuff. I've got some videos. I've got some stuff that I got to talk about. I feel like
we met some cool folks. We got some new follows. I got like Mind Bloom started following us. Lord of Gamers.
Yeah, a couple.
Lord of Gamers follow us. Don't tell your parents about our cuss words. Right? We know. Just don't tell them. Right? We'll talk game strategies. Some cool people we met on the line. So one of the things I forget, like I tend to avoid lines. I rather do things than be online, but I forget that you get to meet some really cool folks. We got to meet a voice actor, right? Did some voice work. Really cool dude, and his partner, I think. Hope I'm not making assumptions. She was pretty cool too.
She was
So
pretty cool. April, she was fun.
that's right. So maybe we'll game together and stream it with them, right? So that's our plan. So thanks if you're listening. Thanks for following up. Thanks for chitty chat. Didn't forget. I wrote down your name. I know some things.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to partake it. I'm gonna make an effort to be part of the community, as I am not a community person. I am so misanthropic. Especially with that what's the game called? Chance of Rain, Chance of Meatballs, Steel 2. What is it called again? The game that they just dropped.
Risk of
Rain. That's Chance of Rain. Risk of Rain 2. That's it.
Risk of Rain. Yeah. No, guys. Again, if you have the opportunity,
like a game I could play with R. Like it looks like it doesn't look like a very bloody shooter. It looks like just
it just looks like lasers, pew 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 numbers.
It's like Star Fox polygon lasers. So I'm like, that's okay, violence, right? That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Lasers are.
I don't know where we draw the line as parents.
It's kind of how we do in our household. We everything that they have, like guns. They occasionally go revert to the word, but then I'm like lasers, blasters. They're like blasters. So then they go back to blasters and they go to someone else's house and then they're like guns. And then we're like, oh man.
Then you're like, oh, do we have to have the conversation? Do you have guns in your house?
Yeah.
Talk about gun safety.
What's funny, and again, this is just more my kid talk about all that. Just a quick note on that. But all of the blasters in our household are very sci-fi. They don't look like real.
They don't make. You have to like specially find those.
Yeah, but then they go to people's houses and then all of a sudden they've got like orange revolvers and I'm like
Texas. Yeah. It just it's sort of an awkward conversation, right? Because our kids are at the age where now those are sort of toys that you play with daddy. But I've had the conversation up here in New York. I'm in the red part of New York, right? Where I'm like, do you have guns or knives in your household? Like my child has not been trained to be around guns, so I want to make sure that if you do have them, they're locked away and blah blah blah. Right? You just have to ask that question nowadays because you don't know who's being irresponsible and who's being responsible. So.
Right.
And I'm sure in Texas the question is actually,
how many guns?
How many guns do you have?
How many guns do you have? And if so, could you remove the coffee table gun away for a little bit while my kid comes over? Is the breakfast gun put up? Is the lunch one? Is it time for the lunch gun?
It's like I'm imagining like an umbrella stand full of AR.
Oh yeah, AR-15s, like bump stocks and all, man.
Like give a gun, take a gun at those.
Texas. Oh God, I love my state. Boy, oh boy. Let me tell you.
Give a gun, take a gun. You're like, oh look, there's a Glock in there. Let me leave my Smith & Wesson. It's like
just upgrade. I don't need that one.
Swap. I've never shot that one before.
And what's again, we're not anti-gun. We're just
no. I'm anti-gun is the wrong. I'm pro-gun education. Like I was raised in a city in an urban environment. My dad grew up on a farm in Puerto Rico, and he gunned, he hunted, he raised me around guns. I was even into Boy Scouts, and I would go on trips and we'd do sharpshooting, right? So I love shooting guns. I fired a lot of guns in my lifetime. I say guns, rifles, right? It even sounds weird to call them guns, right? They're rifles and shotguns and handguns. They have very specific uses and really intense safety rules around them, right? I wasn't allowed to touch them, and if you touched daddy's things, it wasn't ha, it was a whooping, right? It was especially with guns. And my dad took it very seriously. He would pull out the weapons, and there was a sort of reverence in the behavior of being around the guns, and he taught us how to be around them, how to never point them at anyone, how to not wave them around, how to always treat them like they were loaded. Very basic principles that I don't know how many parents are aware of them because maybe they weren't raised around guns, right? And the simple fact of the matter is it takes just one mistake, and that's there's not a year that goes by that I don't read some horrific story about like and we all we all grew up with that 90210 episode, Beverly Hills 90210. Wasn't there the gun shooting?
You brought that back. Yeah, we did. You're right.
That deep inside of us, right? We all know that episode, and that was a real cultural zeitgeist moment for us, right? We all like, wait, none of us know.
We a personal moment that we had one of those particular scenarios happen on around the block.
Not with your kid though. It's
No. But it was not here, not like when I was growing up. Around the block, I had some friends that lived around the block, and like there was two brothers and an older one, and their dad was a cop, and they went in and started playing with daddy's cop gun, and let's just say one of the brothers is no longer with us.
Yeah, which is the most which is the worst tragedy, right?
It's the worst tragedy, and it spreads out.
It was just a sloppy moment, probably, and it's sad all the way around, right? So, and the only reason why I mentioned this, right, I didn't mean to be like a gun bummer, but like
no.
because we play with our kids with guns, and because a lot of our video games that we'll play have guns portrayed in it. I mean, like,
right. So
R watches me play Fortnite, and that, I mean, guns literally pop out of chests for you to grab, right? So. We just have to be aware of that, and it's one of the awkward conversations I have up here because a lot of my friends are blue state individuals who would never be around a gun, right? But I still have to be like, hey, because I'm aware of gun safety and I know gun safety rules, and I don't know if R will ever be raised around guns. I mean, we're not a gun household, but maybe she needs to be trained in them anyway, right?
Right.
How do you make sure everyone's safe all the time? In real life and on the internet, and that's just one of those questions, especially when it's always portrayed in the games that 12-year-olds play as a toy, right? Like all the 12-year-olds who play Fortnite, they all know what a scar looks like, right? Like they can identify.
And we saw it. We saw it was that one kid, little kid that walked by, and he was dressed in perfect cosplay.
That's when I was like, the kids are going to be all right. I saw that cosplay,
bright yellow scar, and I was like,
kids will be all
kid's
right.
Got a scar, legendary.
Yep. So anyway, I didn't mean to go off on a
no. It's a perfect. We need to wrap it up in a good family manner, and that's how we need to talk about it. We always need to kind of reference back to our kiddos and how we see things. And again, I miss my kids at PAX, but they will be there one year. And
so I need to start trolling those PAX forums to see how people deal with their kids. I mean, especially like 6, 7, 8 years old, because I'd love to have her there for at least a day. I can barely get through all 4 days. My body is weak by Sunday, and I'm broken by Monday.
But next year, man. Next year, you're gonna start going some.
I'm gonna wear a helmet.
Oh God!
You're gonna be like, sir, your safety gear is not PAX compliant. You need a helmet. So I don't know if folks saw the live stream and my jokes earlier. I did faint after a poor day of dehydrating, and hit my head pretty hard, and so like I had to go to the ER and all that good stuff. But anyway, it's all water under the bridge. I'm fine.
Water under the bridge. We're gonna get healthy.
And I want to say I lost half of Friday, but I bounced back by Friday night. And
no, I didn't let him. I powered through him. I drugged that boy out of bed on Friday. We walked to CVS. We got him some meds. We got him some.
That's right. Got him some meds. I came back and took a quick nap, and then I rallied for that.
I rallied for the rest of the day, and he was as crappy as he felt. He's still board gamed for like good boy he was. So
still stop by Dwarven Forge, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
he's fine, guys. I know some of you guys have been asking if he's doing good. He's great. He's alive.
I'm fine. It's just, hey, this is one of those things that happen once you get older, right? We can talk about we can have a health episode if you want to have a health episode, but you get older, I bounce back. I'm fine. It's probably all the nerds get told the same thing, right? So exercise more, eat less of the good stuff. That
you know who told you to do that? You know who told you? Hulk Hogan told you to do that. Drink your vitamins and eat your vitamins, and
Hulk Hogan didn't have an Xbox One that makes you want to sit on your butt, right?
Oh God! I wanna be American. Come on.
Yeah. So I've got some plans in place, right? Get off my bus 2 stops earlier and walk an extra 10 minutes to work, and all that.
Right.
Now, especially now that winter is, it snowed yesterday, so it's not. It's not going to be over until we're number 1, because right now we're number 2, and I refuse to accept that.
Yeah, but this year was weak. Like it's like being number 1 of what? It was a weak winter year.
It doesn't matter if it's a weak year or a strong year. Buffalo
Should always be first.
Buffalo, yeah, because you can't complain about the snow and someone has it worse. That doesn't like you've got to have the worst on record. and
it was the worst. It's always been the worst since.
And the fact that Buffalo is like 3 inches ahead as of like 2 days ago, I'm like, that's unacceptable. Buffalo? That's a New York. That's my hometown. Yeah. Nobody beats me with snow in my hometown,
yeah, right?
Yeah, but also, Syracuse usually gets snowed in May, so we're okay. We'll be all right.
you're like, yes, get that golden snow.
We're not a sprinter. We're a marathon runner. Right? Anchorage, Alaska's out. Denver's out. There's no more snow for them, but Syracuse still gets the snow. We'll be fine. 3 inches, that's nothing. We'll get that tomorrow morning.
Oh my God. Yeah, that guys, if you're not familiar, that's what Syracuse is all about, the snow. I think Erie ends up being the biggest competitor usually.
So Erie is a big competitor. It's switched up. I mean, like I'm sort of surprised Buffalo's even up there. Buffalo is usually Rochester's usually more
global warming.
I think there's a little bit of that, right?
Climate change.
I think there's a little bit of climate change. I mean, we're like 60 inches less snow at this time of year than we should be, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, sure.
That's 5
it's El Nino or whatever this year. So.
Yeah, so it's been crazy. But there's been prior years where folks have gotten. There's been other cities that have gotten more snow, so it might switch up. We'll see. I know Erie's I think 6 or 7 this year, which is surprising.
Wow.
And I don't think Erie should even qualify. They're only like 101,000 people. That the cutoff's 100,000. They're like barely.
They're a truck stop. You literally drive through there.
Percentage-wise, we probably have no one in Erie that listens to us, but we're teasing with love. Please,
with love. Come on, what a great name, Erie.
This is Red Sox Yankees rivalry when it comes to snow. This is not. This is not. But you're right. It's a truck stop. Why the heck are you?
Guys, episode 23. Again, like, subscribe. Music by Heretofore. I'll get some more PAX East content. I know some people ask.
Check out sister brother, right? Jordan's a fan of the show, a friend of the show, so we want to make sure that he gets the views on his stream and things like that.
Absolutely. And again, like, subscribe, share, please, guys. Thank you for watching.
And post. Let us know what's up. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one.
The books.
Yeah. Episode 23.
Thank you.